But because in Sahaja Yoga now your awareness has come really to such subtle form, one can understand so many things and can understand the subtler ways of God's doing, and also understand what is possible for you through subtle methods. We can talk of subtler things, but talking this to anybody who is not a Sahaja Yogi would be something madness. They wouldn't understand a word what I am saying. It's only meant for the people who are Sahaja Yogis. So we came to a point where I said that in the gross they are expressed as plexuses in the human being. Now this is known as the gross way. Now the subtle form you have seen, the Sukshma as they call it, the subtle form. The subtle form exists in the human being, which you can see, you have seen it. The subtle form as energy when it starts pulsating, you have seen the pulsation. But this subtle form is in two forms, you can say. One is a Sukshma and another is Ati Sukshma. Because in the Sukshma you can see, and a person who is a realized soul. If you are a realized soul, then you see even the chakras. In the sense you can feel the chakras on your fingers. A unrealized soul can see the pulsation of the Kundalini and the different chakras with his own eyes. He can. If he watches it clearly, he can see the different chakras clearly. And you as Sahaja Yogis can feel them on your fingers and also can feel them within yourself in the collective consciousness. There is, we can say, in the second stage of Sukshma, there are three stages. As you can say, Sukshma, Sukshmatara, Sukshmatam. Three things you can see. The first stage you see is on your fingers, is the Sukshmatara, you can say. But with the eyes you see is a Sukshma. And with your fingers or on your chakras when you feel, it is, you can say, is Sukshmatama. So you see them in three forms. If some of the people do not feel it on the fingers, can feel it on the chakras also. So you can feel it in three ways. But there's a fourth way, where we can say it is in the Karana state. That's a higher state where a realized soul can feel it, who is born as a realized soul can feel it. And in that state, they just know, like a computer. They don't bother as to which is the one, and they don't put hands or anything. They just feel it. It is so. As you have seen in my granddaughter's case, she just knows what is what. Just you ask her, she'll just immediately say, this is this, this is this. Like, it comes plain to them, absolutely, this is this. Now, you may say that, how do they know? But the procedure becomes such a compact thing. I mean, it just happens to you. Like, you pinprick me here, and immediately the hand goes back. You see, it's sort of, the whole reflex action is so quick that we can say there's no procedure as such, but it's just a reflex action. In the same way, it acts as a reflex action, so that you see, you don't have to worry about the purpose of it. That is the state where you say the Karana state. And the Mahakarana state. Now this is the third stage, is it? And even in the Karana state, there are three stages into which one feels it. Now that is, I would say that I need not explain, because that's beyond you people. But if you are born realized, you will understand that the imbalance in a personality, see, of the three gunas, of the three gunas, is immediately perceived by a born realized person. Immediately perceived. He can see through. You see, that's the wisdom he has gained in his previous lives and previous births. And immediately they can see the imbalance that comes in. You see, and whatever they say is so wise, and they understand because they can see the imbalance of these three gunas. And according to their own gunas, whichever are prevalent in them. These three stages exist in them, the way they say. For example, some people have a, say, are more, say, the tamogunis, means the ones who are very emotional type people. Among them, some are very emotional. So, they see a person through the emotions, you see, the way they feel in themselves. They call it a feeling. I had a feeling for such a person, I felt that way. So that is the word they use. But supposing the person is Rajoguni, he has been more towards the going through, say, he has been working on the Rajoguna, like praying to Surya and praying to doing Gayatris and praying to all the heavenly bodies and also the 5 elements like that. If he has been doing yagyas and all those things, see Rajoguni. Such people see them as lights, as electrical forms, so they see them as colors and things. You see, this is so one sees it as an emotional thing, another sees it as a color, or we can say any form of. They see them as forms or colors and lights. They see as electrical currents, and some see them as different flowers. Now, they are feelings, and also they are these Rajoguni expressions which you can see with your eyes, see the creation itself. But they are also feelings. So, those who can see feelings more, a person who has been very loving and who has dealt in this side of life, who has been a bhakti man, you can say, a dedicated man who has been praying to God and crying for him and asking for his help and weeping before him with all his heart. Such a man will feel a person more, and a person who is more dedicated, say, to forms and things, will see them in a different way as forms. So then they see them in colors, because they are also colors. They are also colors and they are also sounds. So the sound is also one of the elements, so they can see as sounds. Now they also see them when the Kundalini moves. You see, they see the sound moving. And they also saw, most of the people who have seen this have been the people who have been meditating through this, we can say, the Patanjala style of meditation, where they were single people, Parshurama style. And they saw these forms, and they saw the movement of the Kundalini through the chakras. When it passes, it creates a sound, a word. And so they studied every sound, which sound was created, what sound was created, what color was there. And so it is a one-sided knowledge of the right-hand side, of the people who went through the right-hand side, that they say that this thing was created, that thing was created, and then this sound was created. Then they formed a language. It's the original Sanskrit language which was formed. That's why it is called as a Devavani. And that's why these deities understand Sanskrit the best. When you say Sanskrit mantras, you see, they absolutely understand them very fast, because this has come originally from there. They studied that and then it was there. But other languages in India, most of the languages were taken from Sanskrit, converted into something else, brought to another form, and then another Sanskrit came in, Prakruta, Sanskrit, and these 5 languages, Magadhi, Paishachi, Maharashtra, and all these languages came in. So it is a derivation. Other languages in other countries that came up, you see, was also, of course, the expression of the Kundalini, but they learnt it more from, say, the words came from more from the outside. You see, the sound of the air flowing, they call it S, like that. And from the nature, whatever they learned from outside, because the approach has been more objective. So objective approach is always little less than the subjective, because subjective is from inside and objective is from outside. So when you go from the objective, the deviation into the main sounds that are coming from inside, you see, the purity is little bit deviated, as you know what is objective and subjective approach. So this has happened with some languages. Some languages are very, very close to Sanskrit, and but they took a turn according to their gunas. Now, the Sattva-guni, the center part of the Sattva-guni, as they call it, you see, they are also the people who have Sattva-guna more in them. They see chakras in the right form. But Sattva-gunis should not be confused with the people who believe that if you eat this, then this is Sattvic, if you eat that, that is Tamasic, or if you say this, this is Sattvic, or if you do not kill anybody, then it is Sattvic. In this, the right perception comes in. For example, you have to explain why Krishna killed so many Rakshasas. It was absolutely Sattvic. It's dharmic, absolutely dharmic. Why Durga killed so many Rakshasas? She had to eat the blood of so many Rakshasas. So, you see, whatever is dharmic, the wisdom, the right path, comes through such people who are neither too much this side, neither that side, and they know exactly what is the right way of looking at life. Such born realized people. This is a very, very far-fetched stuff. There are very few. I would say, perhaps, you can say Buddha and Mahavira are the only two human beings who have gone through many lives. From one extreme to another they went, and ultimately they found out that going to the extremes is not proper. Still, they have not reached the complete height of an incarnation. So, a model was to be created who would be all the time giving a fixed point for a person to rise to that. And these are the different models which are placed within us on our chakras. And these models are perfect models belonging to those chakras. So, according to the nature of the person who is watching these chakras, one sees them and gives them importance also. Now, for a person like say Shankaracharya is a born realized soul many a times. He is not born realized once, but many a times he is born realized, and he is in the center of it. We can say one of them, we can call him. So when he talks of his Muladhara chakra, he has already done the path many a times, and now he is going to the subtler and subtler and subtler form. So when he says that the Muladhara chakra is opened out, then you can walk on the water. Is correct, because he is at that subtle stage of ascendance. One has to ascend once, second time, third time, fourth times, and then you reach a stage where you start ascending. But even then, it is not so important to walk on the water. What is so important to walk on the water? It's nothing so important, because you see, it's easy. You can take a boat and walk. It's nothing so important. So, walking on the means also on the right hand side. Is the right hand side to walk on the water, or say to fly in the air? All this is the right hand side things, which also can be done with the help of a boat or a an aircraft, or even we can use a boot. For that we can use a dead entity, and we can make him take us to any place we feel. Which can be done. The CSP business is only that. So it can be done by other methods also. So it is nothing important that, you see, it's sometimes very confusing when we see that some people can fly in the air. They say in the subtle form they have gone. You don't see their body moving, but you see that they can feel it. The difference being that the people who are realized can guide themselves, and you can see them bodily moving. But those who are not realized, they find their subtle being taken out, and their consciousness going with them somewhere else, and they are sitting on top of the house. Some they are watching themselves, and they are sitting there, and they see themselves sitting down like that. You see, these phenomena take place. That is absolutely nothing but a soul being ridden by a dead entity. So there's nothing great about it. That is also a right side stuff. The left hand side, as I told you, is the emotional feeling about things. You see, you feel tremendous love for others, and sometimes, people. I would say Sainath was one of them who had this left hand side gift with him, and he was love personified, and he was so much full of love for people that once there was a woman who was very poor and she couldn't celebrate her Diwali day, and he couldn't bear it, so he gave her some water, and the water became like oil, and she burnt lights in that. And it's a fact, you can do that, it's possible. And with this power you can increase food, sort of thing. You see, you increase the food stuff, you are going to some, like Christ did it. You see, that's also one side. So all these things come in a personality. Some people have one more, another have some more, and some people have all these qualities. Those who are incarnations have everything. They can do everything that they want to, and they will use whatever they want to do. If they don't want to use any powers, they will not use. So it depends on. So it's nothing important. Supposing you see something, all right, there you can see it is a good thing, but that doesn't mean that you should stick on to those things. But you must try to do what you don't see. For example, now you see the light coming out of somebody's head. Now that's one side of looking at things. Another is that you can feel the another person. When you feel the another person, how he is, how he needs you, how you are coming closer to that person, can you feel that compassion for him, that he is not where you are? That also is another balancing stuff. But this should be done. This is very dangerous for some people who try to be helpful to others when they are not themselves solidified properly. So I would again warn you that when you start seeing lights and all that, try to remember that you are going on one side, you are seeing more. Then be more compassionate in your tongues, in your talking, in your behavior. Try to have more love. Means right hand side is more developing, the left is less. Is the heart. So you have to raise your kundalini from right and left. But it's all mechanical, it works out. It's only thinking about it. Oh, I have to develop my heart more. The balance has to be there. This also should be there, the feeling for others. Now the feeling for others cannot be explained as I feel for others. Okay? If somebody is crying anywhere, I get tears into my eyes automatically. Even if you are not crying and if you are feeling hurt about things, I get this hurt feeling within myself. Like that. You see, you should really feel that hurt feeling and that desperate feeling and that cry. Of course, it comes to some people too much, but they do not have the other side. So you should have both the sides and both the balancing characters within you. So those who are seeing things more should not go on bothering about what they are seeing. It's coming their way, all right. Because they have done that kind of a tapasya, so they see things. And it helps Sahaja Yoga very much because you can see for yourself who is realized, who is not realized, this thing, that thing. But still the dryness is in you. So if it is in you, you should try to develop it. So whatever you don't have, you try to develop that. Whatever you have, don't be satisfied with that. That's the best way you can rise. You see, those people who can see things should try to feel others. Those who can feel others should try to see things. And it would work out that way. So this is what it is. And in the Mahakarana state, where the Mahakarana is, that is a very, very subtlest form of state where the chakras, which have got the deities, are connected with are sort of reflection of the deities of the Virata. Now these deities in the Virata are reflected in you, are awakened in you, and they start moving and making the whole thing work out as it should be. Up to the Karana state, it is very good. But Mahakarana state is the state where it is the real, what we call the object and reflection. When you can come up to the object, which is a very deep state of mind, where you are with the object. And when you are at the object, you are very close to an incarnation state. So we can say that as far as you people are concerned, you should try to understand up to Karana state, because beyond that, how to jump and how to go is not the question just now. Versus of telling you about something which is a far-fetched stuff. So we'll talk about it later. But this is how it is, the 4 states of chakra. Now, दूसरा प्रश्न हुआ ना उत्तर का, ते चक्र, हाँ. He says you see it anti-clockwise. You do see, because most of the people who have seen it on other people. And when you see on other people from the back side, you see it on the anti-clockwise side. But if you see it from the front, it is clockwise. That's why.
What I say,
Huh.
you feel the chakras moving one outside your body.
Huh.
Feel the chakras moving.
Yeah, it depends on, what I've just now told you, that the chakras, say for example, for an ordinary human being, the chakras are nothing but ordinary plexuses. For a realized soul, it is more than that. So the more you move into a greater view of your own awareness, that's how the chakras start manifesting. Now, for example, my chakras are working all over. This is the difference. So it depends on the awareness of person. Dasa 2%, dasa prakash pade. As much as the light now says, that much is the extension of the light. As much is the power. So that's what it is. So शरीर जे आहे, शरीर हे म्हणजे ग्रोथ आहे, पण आधी ग्रोथ कसं वाइब्रेशंस फारायला लागले. अच्छा, अब हो गया चक्र पे बात करें.